If you're an artist, the following scenarios may be familiar to you.
Alright. Haven't drawn anything all day. I should probably make something. Let's see. Actually, no. That wouldn't work, but I don't know. Alright, so I got something, but this looks like hot garbage. The arm, what is that anatomy? Why is the shading so disgusting like that? Oh my god. Alright, let's just try again. Try just drawing something else, maybe. I could, well, I mean, it's just gonna look terrible again. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, in the art community, this is a little thing called art block, or burnout. It's when you just can't draw, and when you do draw, you aren't satisfied with anything you do. This is something a lot of artists face. In fact, I always saw myself as a bit of an outlier because I rarely actually face this problem. But that made me wonder, why didn't I get art block very often? Well, I wanted to find out the answer to that, and after learning from the times I actually have had art block and asking other artists, I think I found the answer. So let's talk about art block. First off, let's talk about the difference between burnout and art block, because while they are similar, there's one big difference, and that's what causes them. Art block and burnout are both a lack of motivation to draw, and or a dissatisfaction with art, but burnout is caused by overworking yourself and drawing way too much. Art block is caused by things such as being overly critical of your art, or simply frustration. So how do you get out of it, or even better, prevent it? Well, the first step is to take breaks. Burnout especially is from working too much. If you find yourself drawing or animating or whatever you do for hours on end, that's probably part of the problem. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Do something else for a while. Play a video game. Go outside. Take a nap. Whatever. Whatever works for you. Another thing is to do different stuff. If you're drawing the same thing all the time, it can get really boring. You can check out another video I made about art styles. It goes more in depth about drawing the same thing and how it can be harmful. But anyway, I actually find it better, especially when I'm animating, to actually work on multiple projects at once, so I'm not doing the same thing all the time. However, if this stresses you out and overwhelms you, you don't have to do this. But the way I'll do it is I'll animate a scene for half an hour or so and then switch over and work on a painting. I find I get more work done this way because I'm less likely to burn out. Also, I just think that the product in general looks more high quality when I do that, but I don't know, everyone's different. Also, if you're struggling with hating your art, you have to be mindful of your way of thinking. You're going to make things you won't always be proud of, but you can't let that hold you back. If there are particular things you don't like about your art, focus on improving them, but don't get too frustrated. Improvement is a slow and steady process. It won't happen overnight. It's taken me 8 years to get to the level I'm at right now. Also, remember that your biggest critic is always going to be yourself. It's natural to be self-conscious of your drawings, but again, everyone starts somewhere and you have to keep moving forward. Remember, your art's only going to get better. Also, if you have a habit of drawing things and having them come out differently from what you pictured in your head, try drawing thumbnails first. Thumbnails are smaller little sketches of a drawing you're planning out. It helps you figure out the composition of your drawing, and overall, I think it makes the drawing look a little less wonky in the end, especially if you're not 100% good with anatomy like I am. Overall, while I still get unsatisfied with my art every so often, I like to keep moving forward, which is why I think I don't get art block very often, because even if I'm dissatisfied with something, I'll just be like, oh well, I'll just draw something else. And I try not to let the negative feelings impact me too much, and that's something that's difficult for some people, and I understand that. So you just have to think about your mentality a lot of times, because that is a lot of the reason why you get uninspired. But inspirational things like just watching YouTube videos, honestly, I will watch art YouTube videos and that will just inspire me to draw. Or speed paints in general. It's also never a bad idea to look at your art and see what you like. What did you do right? Whether it's the colors, the background, shading, anatomy, there's probably something you're proud of in your art. And comparing yourself to other people can also be a demotivator, especially if those people's art is really good. But also, if you want your art to be as good as your idol's art, you have to work for it. Maybe it actually motivates you and inspires you to be that good when you look at their art. And if it does, great. Also, don't be afraid to just mess around when you're creating art sometimes. Don't take it super seriously all the time, especially if you're just starting out. Just do some doodles. Not everything you draw has to be a fully finished piece. That's why it's good to have a sketchbook. Sometimes you want to be able to just jot down ideas. There's nothing wrong with that. It also never hurts to try something new. That can be anything, whether drawing new characters, new environments, using a new medium, or something else. Sometimes art trades are also a great way to get inspired, because you're drawing other people's characters, and those characters might be a different species than what you normally draw, or just a unique design in general that can get your motivation and your inspiration really back up there. I mentioned earlier about going outside kind of as a joke, but it can actually be really helpful. Just walking around your neighborhood, looking at nature, taking a walk in like your local park or something can just be really inspirational to look at nature and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's winter here right now, so it's mostly just snow on the ground, but there's still trees, there's still squirrels, you know what I mean? So just look at environments, and that might actually help you. Also, this one sounds a little strange, but actually work on your fears. Like, work on what you don't like about your art, you know what I mean? What are you afraid of in art? Do you hate drawing hands? Do you think your hands look terrible? Well, draw some hands. I mentioned this before in some of my other videos, like I said before, but this also applies here. It can actually be a big motivator for people. If you're afraid of something, you should probably do it, because that's the only way to get better at things, you know what I mean? Also, if you start drawing something and immediately start hating it, you don't have to finish it, you know what I mean? All you have to do is just throw that away or erase it and start again, because chances are you can probably do it better the next time you draw it. Oftentimes though, before you trash it or erase it, look at it and see what you don't like about it. If you can point out specific things, then you can focus on making those things better when you redraw it. Also, this is something that a lot of people don't really talk about, but I think is really good, is that when you actually redraw old pieces of art, I love redrawing old pieces of art, because it shows how much I've improved. You know what I mean? Like, I can look at my old cringy art from when I was like 9 or 10 and be like, oh, that's disgusting. Even art from like a year ago, I still don't like, because I've improved so much from then. So sometimes I like to redraw an old piece of art and just see how much I've improved from there, and that can be a motivator because it shows that you have improved and that you are working towards your goal of just being a good artist. It can also be helpful to give yourself something to focus on. So for instance, if you know you're not very good at line art or shading or something, try to focus on that specifically for a while. Try to draw pictures that have heavy shading or very detailed line art or very long lines that have to be smooth or something like that. I never drew backgrounds or environmental backgrounds, so I started to try to draw more forests and more perspective backgrounds, and before I knew it, I was actually getting pretty good at them. Why? Because I was doing them so much. So that helps too. I've also found that sometimes just reading a book in general can be helpful to people. I don't know, especially fantasy books, that's like my go-to genre. I think that stories in fantasy books are really interesting to me, and since most of my characters have like a fantasy kind of world to them, then reading fantasy books really inspires me to draw those characters and work on my animations and stuff. So yeah, that's something else. And I think I'm gonna leave the video here. I think I talked basically enough about art stuff. I feel like I've been talking forever. It's only been like 10 minutes, but whatever. So yeah, if you like this video, you know, like it, subscribe, all that stuff everyone tells you to do at the end of every video. It's stupid, but, you know, I want to do it anyway. So, yeah, also check out my other videos. I do art rambles and speed paints and stuff. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.